Hey everybody, Acting Tough Gaming here, back with another Elden Ring boss guide video. This time we are fighting Rennala. She's basically a DPS check, so if you find yourself getting frustrated because you're not doing enough damage to her and the fight's taking too long, just take a break and maybe go grind some souls or level up your weapon. I suggest using a bleed weapon for this fight because it is a weakness of hers. For phase 1, she's going to be floating in the middle of the air in a bubble. Meanwhile, there will be one enemy on the ground that is also covered in a bubble and shooting these purple magic books at you. Just run up and hit those enemies one time so their bubble pops. You'll need to do this 3 times in order to get Rennala to drop down to the floor. This is your punish window, and my advice here is if you can't take away a third of her health, then you probably need to upgrade your weapon or grind some souls to level your character up because phase 2 is going to be really difficult for you. Don't get greedy there at the end though. When she starts flashing, just dodge away because that burst attack does a lot of damage. Now I get pretty lucky here because the enemies I've got to attack with the bubbles on them, they all spawn pretty close to each other. So I didn't have to deal with her magic projectiles here, but you probably will. My advice with this is to hide behind the pillars, not behind the bookshelves, because the projectiles go through the bookshelf. Also, she won't send them after you until she sees you, so you might have to bait them out by peeking around the pillar. And after hacking her down a little bit more, we are on to phase 2. She's always going to start with her green laser beam that she sends out. You can easily avoid this by running left or right. I actually got hit by it, which is kind of embarrassing, but hey, what are you gonna do? And actually, most of her magic attacks you can just avoid by sprinting sideways. The next 2 attacks she sends out, I do prefer to dodge though, and I think you should dodge into those attacks instead of away. If you dodge away from them, you're just gonna end up getting hit by all of them and probably dying. Another attack that you're going to want to dodge instead of sprint left or right is when she throws her staff at you. You're pretty safe if you stand in front of her, but I still like dodging into it when it gets close. Hack away at her when you get the chance, especially if you're using a heavy weapon because you can stun lock her like I just did there. Now here's where the fight actually gets tough. She's going to start summoning random creatures. Just ignore them. Don't try to fight them. Just run away and try to damage her. Play it super aggressive at this point where you're just trying to do as much damage to her in as short of time as possible. When she knocks you off your feet while summoning, that actually does no damage to you, so don't worry about it. And once again, just ignore the summon and run straight at her, dodge her magic attacks if she throws any out at you, and just go to town. She's going to summon the dragon next, and that's definitely one you have to be more mindful of your positioning on, but thankfully I did enough damage to her where she dies before it can even attack. And if you made it this far, please consider subscribing. I've got lots of great content planned for 2024. I'll definitely be covering the DLC Shadow of the Erdtree. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.